The President of the United States is a coward who is Vladimir Putin's puppet. And the Vice President of the United States is a pogue and a coward who is Donald Trump's puppet. And so what we just witnessed was a meeting in the Oval Office between two cowardly puppets and a hero. And whether you voted for these puppets or not, just as an American, as a fellow American, it's just embarrassing that the only hero in the Oval Office, the only decent human being for that matter, is the Ukrainian. I mean, this administration is going to go down as an embarrassment to American history.
Yes, a lot of people believe that Ukrainian President Zelensky was ambushed recently at the White House because he walked in there and then boom, 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 the barrage. They didn't even have the meeting again. Bah, 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 bah. So people felt like he was being twisted. They wanted to bully him into submission. Now, why? Let's analyze. Let's talk about Zelensky and Trump meeting. That meeting could have been done behind closed doors and also away from the cameras and all that gallery. All right, so let's talk about this. Some people are beginning to say that JD Vance, was the one that started all that drama. That if he didn't come in and start being unnecessarily aggressive towards Zelensky, that Zelensky wasn't going to respond, and then Trump wasn't going to come into the matter. One of our commenters actually, whether a joke or not, he said that JD Vance was trying to enjoy senior jokes, meaning presidents are talking, he should have kept quiet. Now, one of our commenters. But my point is this: America, the West, always do this. They will tell you they're fighting for freedom. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're not going to, in the hindsight, they're doing it for something else. So you have to be a good president to navigate between the diplomacy of it all and the economic aspect of the whole deal. See, the problem we're having now is probably this is the very first time America is having a purely economic guy who is an entrepreneur that's a president. So Trump is having to navigate diplomacy and economics, right? And it's a little bit harder for someone that wrote the art of the deal to really be too diplomatic. So he's employing some of the things he learned over the years as a businessman. You know, so he's not being diplomatic as much. And that's one of the problems. Does he mean well? Yes, I believe he means well. He just has different tactics. And those tactics are the tactics that people have to get accustomed to. You understand? They're not used to that. Now, Biden and other people truly were trying to help Ukraine fight Russia because they believed that Russia was coming hard on Ukraine for no reason. And from history, antecedents, if you don't checkmate that, it could lead to other things. When Hitler was not checkmated, Hitler went bizarre. He went from Czech Republic, he went everywhere. He was all over. He went to Austria. You know, I think he was about to even take over Austria, the entire Austria and Poland and other places before he got stopped. But my point again, it's good to check anybody that's perceived to be a dictator. It's good to check him on time. I think Biden was trying to do that. Now, Biden, people are saying, why didn't Biden go into the nitty-gritty of the deals and say, okay, we're going to do this for you, but you have to do this for us. We're going to do this for you, but you have to do this for us. I believe Biden was going to do that eventually. The initial instinct, truly, for that administration was to checkmate Russia, Putin specifically. Now, as every other American administration in the past, they were going to end up making it a deal. See what happened in Iraq. American companies ended up doing all the cleanup work, everything about Iraq. They messed it up and they cleaned it up. They made money from it. Even Blackhawk Security made money, their own security company. So this was eventually going to come to. If Biden had continued, I believe the other steps would have been, oh yeah, Zelensky, how do we get our money back? You have all these rare minerals, you understand? And I believe Zelensky, unspoken accord, wouldn't have challenged it. I think he would have let, he would have understood, and he would have let Biden make a deal, economic deal, right? But Trump himself, on the other side, they monitor Biden and Zelensky since. And Trump, being a businessman, even while he's not president yet, they look them, say this with the craze, so with all these rare minerals, that businessman instinct in him, they kick in. Collect the mineral now, collect. You understand? It was bothering him. So, and then Trump also saw Zelensky as having supported Biden a lot. So he doesn't have that clean spirit for him at all. So that bad energy there already. So on arrival, Trump said it was more like, let's get our money. Whatever we put in there, let's get it. Whatever we put in there, let's get it. And I believe the way he was pushing for it got Zelensky a bit more like, wow. And Zelensky is asking for security guarantees. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to ask for security guarantees, because if you're going to be in my backyard and you're digging up my minerals, if you're digging my minerals and all of a sudden Russia starts sending bombs again, you go carry your bags, run back to your country, or would you stay back and say, let's fight Russia? That's what Zelensky wants. He wants guarantees that if you're digging my minerals, can you fight the enemy? Trump doesn't want to commit to that, because America doesn't like to commit to stuff like that. America don't want you to believe that they don't want to give you too many guarantees. Places like Taiwan and China, America is committed to defending Taiwan. So them and China, if you go to those southeast waters, China and America, they always do blinksmanship. Even the other time, American China catch American pilots years back during George W. Bush era, and they asked him to apologize. He said he could only express regrets. That was the famous stuff back then. So back then, when people ask you to say you're sorry, you say no, I can only express regrets, quoting George Bush. So those were some of the diplomatic terms used then. So America and China, they always fight over those Taiwan Straits and all those waters. You understand? America get guarantee for Taiwan, but that guarantee they know the two talk them hard, because if China is becoming a bigger power, if they do anything crazy, the America must respond. So I think America doesn't want to come out and tell what's her name, Zelensky, we go there for you, but Zelensky wants that. So that's one of the reasons Zelensky wants to join NATO. You understand? If in the NATO, anything that Russia does to have becomes a collective responsibility of NATO to fight back, because NATO has that as its main charter. It's a collective defense for all signatories, right? So that's what America is trying to avoid. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of life. You have to deepen that. But if America is there digging up minerals, Russia no go want to attack, because Russia doesn't want to bomb American interests and then wahala start. So America being there alone doing that deal, it's okay to guarantee safety for Ukraine, for them. But I think Trump is more interested in getting the money spent already. He wants to get that money back quickly, and he like this guy when they're there. So there's some of them are even talking about regime change, because they want to remove him. And in 1994, don't forget, Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapon, the arsenal. They gave up their nuclear weapons for some economic aid package and all that. Now they're going to be regretting it. And America and other countries, they need to try. Every time people give up their weapon or their arsenal, they end up getting attacked. Look at Gaddafi. The moment Gaddafi gave up his new arsenal of chemical and biological weapons, he was killed. Don't lose your ikenga. Any deterrence force you have is supposed to help you. Don't lose your deterrence force. So now, if you cannot defend Ukraine, that means every country go to fear. Something like Iran now. Iran wouldn't want to give up their arsenal. Never. With all this is where they happen. No. So let's try to analyze this properly. Some people are saying, oh, Trump is being... No, I think Trump is just reacting because he believes that what's his name is too close to Biden, Zelensky. And Trump calling Biden stupid president world cameras watching. That was very bad. In front of world press. That's not nice now. You understand? So a lot of bad things they happen. Trump means well. He just doesn't like... If you tell Trump now we're going to bring somebody else from Ukraine, he will rather it. He believes this guy, what's his name? Zelensky is too Biden-like for him. He wants somebody different. And Trump is using his charm to make Vladimir Putin calm down. That's good too. That's part of diplomacy. Everything must not be make we kill each other or make we kill one another. You understand? That's what it is. So Zelensky, I believe he will go with Europe. Europe will keep making deals with him. But the funny thing about it is that Europe is there giving loans, but America is giving grants and aids. You understand? But Europe, they collect some of their money. Even for Macron and Trump were discussing it that day. Trump accused them, say, France, you guys are always getting your money. Macron said, well, not that much, just a little. But at least he admitted that they're getting something back. Now, look what's ridiculous the other day. England is giving them $2.something billion, and they're using frozen your Russian assets as collateral. Who does that? First of all, England, you're causing more trouble by using assets of another country. We're on a freeze. It doesn't mean that you guys will never get back to good diplomatic terms. If Russia and England gets back to diplomatic terms, or UK rather, get back to diplomatic terms, what will happen to that money that you're using to back the loans you're giving to? Must you use collateral of another country that's frozen assets of another country to back loans for another country? Now lie, man. If you want to help Zelensky, dash him $2.something billion. The way you're harassing Trump, that Trump is not giving, America is not giving money, give them too now. So what I think will happen is that in Europe, they will back Zelensky for now. And this war will continue. Because they are managing it. It's a managing risk. It's a managed risk. They go just manage the war, they go. But at the expense of what and who? Humans are dying every day. They go just manage the war, they go. Because nobody wants to come out and say we want to give up. Because now if the war were to end, Russia would want to keep Crimea, which they've held for many years, even while Obama was here. Russia will want to keep the Donbas region, part of it at least. If you ask them, they'll say it's security buffer zone. The same excuse Israel gives about Golan Heights, security buffer zone, and other places that they are holding outside of Israel. You understand? So how do we end this whole quagmire? If Vladimir Putin will agree that if Zelensky will say we are not going to join NATO, since Putin went in there because he's afraid of NATO, of the Ukraine joining NATO, and Ukraine is giving you the guarantee that they don't want to join NATO. So if Putin can back up, if this will sign that you're not joining NATO and go home, must this man join NATO? That's the question. Must he join NATO? No. Russia wants to have a country in between. There will be a buffer so that NATO will not be in his backyard. It's very simple. Other countries in Eastern Europe, most of them don't join NATO. So you're encroaching on Russia's backyard. You follow me? So because let's end all this drama where they will happen for this war. Let's not be selfish. Enough is enough. Just like in Gaza, I always told people why one of the reasons Kamala lost that election in America and Gaza, because Biden and Kamala were frustrated with Netanyahu, but they were too afraid to say it because of the Israel lobby in America. They were too afraid. They thought that if they will criticize Netanyahu too much or stop the war in Gaza, that Trump will have an upper hand, because Republicans always try to act like they are the ones that support Israel more than the other one. So Trump, they didn't want Trump to have that upper hand. They overdid it. Too many innocent people died, and that's what we don't like. Any drop of blood anywhere is wrong. That's why Biden lost that election. Believe it or not. Every other thing. Look at the Rust Belt. They voted against the Democrats because of all this stuff in the Rust Belt. Michigan, all those places, Minnesota, Ohio. They have a lot of Arab Americans. They were not happy. Even the pure progressive Democrats didn't want that. Mononanya, fracas more fire, fuka fuka. Now we dey here.
We4We Media Pinnacle Entertainment. Derima. More fire.